Hey, everybody. Just wanted to have a discussion about your literary essay that's going to be due. And don't worry, it's not due for a little while. It'll be due for our class right here, the date right there. And as always, by 11:59 p.m. This is a big one. It's worth 10% of your final mark. So some of the other things that we've been doing have been worth 5%, 4%. This is worth twice as much as everything else. So as is evidenced by the amount that it's worth, this is how much time you have to put in with it. So I wanted to give it to you very early. I will be walking you through the essay writing process as we go in the next few days, the next few lessons anyway. So please don't think that you have to, have a lot of pre-existing knowledge about it. I'm going to walk you through it very carefully, literally talk about this is how an essay is supposed to be constructed, sentence by sentence. And if you've been following answering the questions in our 3-step process, so answer the question, provide the quote, then explain, really what you've been doing is writing little supporting points for an essay the entire time, because this is exactly how you write an essay and you argue and you back up your points. So I'm going to be talking about that a little bit in this video, and we also will be doing some more work leading up to the actual full writing of an essay in the next few lessons. Tomorrow, our next class will be focused on introduction. And then we'll talk about the main points, then we'll talk about the conclusion, and then we'll talk about a works cited page. So in the next 4 or 5 lessons, you'll have the entire process of writing the essay down. So if you just follow instructions carefully, take notes, and use the outlines that you've been given, you should do very well on this assignment. So I just want to talk a little bit about this. So it falls under the writing strand. It is worth 10% of your final mark. Sorry, it's not a unit test. It is the essay. It's going to be due on this date, Wednesday, November 20th. And this is something you'll have to kind of pick away at, work on it a little bit every day, getting your ideas together, arguing, because we will be doing other work as well during this time. So that's why I wanted to give it to you with more than enough time for you to work on. So you're going to open it up, make a copy of it, rename it, and here's exactly what we're going to be doing. So I've given you 5 topics. You're going to choose one of these topics, and you're going to build a thesis statement around it. The thesis statement is the most important sentence of your essay. It is what you're going to prove, and that's the key here. An essay proves something. It doesn't talk about something. It doesn't discuss something. It proves an aspect of a topic that you've chosen. So if you always keep this in mind as you're writing your essay, you'll do really well, because that's really what it's about. When I come to put your mark on it at the end, all I'm going to be concerned about is, did you prove what you said you were going to prove? Obviously, proper grammar kind of thing. And the way you prove your point from a text, from a drama study, is you're going to use your opinion backed up by evidence from the drama study to prove your thesis. So, so we're looking for, it's going to be basically 5 paragraphs at minimum, an introduction, 3 separate main points with at least 2 examples per main point, and then a conclusion. So in its barest bones, 5 paragraphs, but certainly it can be more than that. But at the minimum, it's a 5-paragraph essay. So a major aspect of this assignment is that you prove your thesis using quotes from the play. Okay. And you need an edited rough copy. You will need a works cited page, and you have to obviously have in-text citations. If you're not sure of those things, or if you're getting comments from me about, you need to review it, go back and review it, because we've done it a few times. There is a couple sections in your writer's toolbox of the content section you can look at to help you with MLA format. And you can always ask me or come and show me your work, and then I can kind of help you out with it. So here are your 5 topics. You can choose, any one of these that you feel strongly about. So, discuss the role of women in Death of Salesman. You could talk about Linda. You can talk about the woman, the woman Willie has an affair with, and any of the other of the women in the play, what role they take on. The tragic death of Willie Loman was inevitable and preventable because of, and I've left that blank. So you can talk about because of society, the concept of the American dream. You can bring a great deal into that. So you're going to talk about why his death is a tragedy, and it really kind of was out of his hands. It was destiny for him to die, and there was not much he could do to stop that. Death of a Salesman was a warning to people about following a life of illusion. Willie Loman certainly lives a life of illusion. He creates an illusion around himself and his family, and he doesn't even admit to himself that the lies that he tells and the lies that he knows are true, but he refuses to admit to himself. And this leads him to his downfall. Number 4, Biff, Happy, and Linda, the real co-conspirators in the death of Willie Loman. So you could argue that it's their fault that he died, that they didn't do what they needed to do to keep him safe and happy, etc. And number 5 is Willie's retreat into the glory of the past, a way to cope with modern failure. So you're going to contrast what he, the potential of the past with, his realization of the failures that he's had in the future. So this is going to come into the Dropbox on Wednesday, November 20th. Here are your learning goals. And there's some success criteria for you to make sure that, so before you hand it in, make sure you have all these things. Use a direct evidence of test. It's organized. Statements, points ideas are supported, explained, and connected. There's transitions used between paragraphs. So all of these things I've left. This is how you can have success on this essay. I've given you, here's your rubric. I'll give you a little bigger rubric, but for right now, here's what it's going to be out of 60. So there's a thinking aspect. So you will have to do a completed outline that you'll see here in a second, evidence of rough copy and editing, and then your knowledge, application, thinking, communications out of 40. And again, I'll give you a larger rubric as we move forward. I've given you a graphic organizer here, and this is what we're going to kind of be walking through in the next few lessons. And then our next lesson will focus on an introduction. So here you can place your topic, sentence, harness statement, thesis statement, and leading sentence. We're going to be talking about what those things are on Monday. Your first main point, second main point, third main point. This is kind of what the argument, how your argument should be shaped. And again, I've tried to really walk you through it, saying you need this and then you need this. So you need to argue your point, and then you need to provide support in the form of a quote, and you need to explain that quote. So again, very much similar to how you've been answering questions in all the questions for poetry, short stories, and in for Death of Salesman so far. Give your answer, provide your evidence, and then explain. And that's really what you're doing here as well. So this shouldn't be new for you. It's just a longer form of that same process. And then, point number 2, you will need at least 2 examples per main point that are different. And then, your third main point and your conclusion. Okay, so we'll be walking you through this process. So don't worry if you don't know what a topic, sentence is or harness statement is, that's fine. I will be teaching that, and we'll be talking about that in our next few classes. Just make sure you're updating this list as you go. I've given you a checklist. So to make sure that you have these things, does your introduction capture the attention? Connect to the topic. Is there supporting points? Is there a hook? Is there a clear thesis? So if you are able to check yes for all those things at the end of when you think you're done, then you're doing a good job. So you can go through and check out this checklist as well for how to write the essay. I will be walking through it very slowly. I'm going to give you lots of examples and lots of time. Please don't find the essay writing process daunting or scary in any way. If you have an opinion, can back your opinion up with proof, and then explain how that proof proves your opinion, you have all the tools and techniques you have to write a very positive and good essay. Whether it be a 10-page essay for university or a 2 or 3 page essay for high school, it's all the same thing. It's just a matter of how in-depth you go into your arguments. And that's really what it's about. And that's why we're focusing on having an opinion in today's lesson. It's important to have an opinion, yes, but you have to be able to back up your opinion with proof and be able to explain how that proof does, in fact, prove what you said you were going to. And if you can do all that, you are an effective essay writer. And that's the goal. Okay. Have a great day. Please enjoy working on this and the planning process of it. Lots of time here, but get at it. Do a little bit every day, and you'll be good. Okay, have a great day.